Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Live Security Dog Handler. Out on shift, just on a bit of obviously a break in between patrols and different things like that. Just got to do my quick bit of paperwork. I hope you're all good. Hope you're keeping dry. It wasn't meant to rain this week, and yet here we are. I've got both dogs. Got both dogs on board tonight because I'm off tomorrow night. So I've got both dogs on board tonight so that I could take them for a bit of a run before shift, and I can also take them for a bit of a run in the morning. Because like I say, I'm off tomorrow, so I'll go take the dogs for a run in the morning, and then we're doing something like early evening, so make sure that dogs get a decent run out tonight and tomorrow morning, so they get some energy out, and then obviously just take them for their normal walks. But yeah, welcome to another live. There's obviously the chat box if you've got any questions or any topics, anything you want to talk about. Someone asked me in the live last week about what's the percentage of people that are PAYE handlers and self-employed. So I put the poll out there the other day. The people that voted, it was 50% of handlers were self-employed, 25% of handlers were PAYE, and then 25% of people that watch are just watching my videos for either, well, just a member of the public that are not interested in being a dog handler, or they're training to become a dog handler. But it seems like the large majority of handlers that watch my stuff are PAYE, which is what I see, to be honest. I think when of the handlers that I've come across and the handlers that I know and the handlers that I work alongside, most of them are PAYE. So that's obviously can't get everyone to vote, but of the people that voted, it seemed like the large majority are PAYE. So yeah, I hope you're all good. Chip King is in. Hi buddy. Hi mate, how are you? I assume that you're on shift, because unless I've caught you on the one day a month that you're not on shift, I assume that you are on shift. But yeah, these lives are just sort of hangouts, and obviously, like I say, chat box is there for any questions or any topics. I've not got too much to really talk about, to be honest. I had quite a busy evening last night due to people having access to our gate for like a through passage. So I had a bit of stuff to do last night, which is probably the first thing I've really had to do since I've come on this site, a couple of months. So yeah, last night was the first real night. I spoke about in a video, whether it was a live or something, about stuff being put outside my site, possibly attracting people to where I am. It actually turns out that they've got some other security, because it's a different company that's in here to outside. They've actually got a different company to do security. So this is where being a security dog handler, it's not so much yourself or your patrolling or whatever it is. It's about making the site less attractive than a closer site. So it looks to me as if I've got some more security outside, some static guards, and in order to get to me, they would have to go through the static guards, through all of the stuff that is outside site, to then break through a gate in order to get to where me and the dog are. Now, I don't know about you guys, I would say 99% of criminals, or 99% of people, are going to take the easier route of outside the lock gate, away from the dog handler. So although that stuff was bringing attention to me in one way, now having the security there actually adds a layer of protection to me and makes me less appealing than I did last week, a couple of weeks ago. So I think that's an interesting thing, is if dog handling, being a security dog handler on a site is not about being aggressive or being the biggest threat. It's about being the biggest deterrent and making your site less attractive than another one. And like I say, with them guys out there, is people going to walk past them, deal with them, go past all of the merchandise that's outside to break through a gate to get to where I am with less merchandise or less appealing merchandise, to then have to deal with a dog. So that's pretty much a change that's been happening. But like I say, it's not massively interesting, but I think that is part of being a security dog handler, is that you just make your place less attractive than somewhere else. And you're never going to prevent crime, but you can move it elsewhere. And then hopefully, if you move it elsewhere, then another dog handler gets on that site, which obviously gets more work for the industry. And then you move them somewhere else, and then another dog handler gets a site there. And you know, like I say, you're never going to solve crime, but if you can move it to somewhere else, you're bringing job opportunities for other handlers, for other companies, etc. And like I say, if your company's got throws a bit of a blanket over an area, there's more chance of you getting more sites down the road, because if you're not getting break-ins or you're not getting any trouble on sites that you're on, then possibly you could get more work down the road, etc. So yeah, I'm hoping they're staying out. I'm hoping they're going to stay out there. I do see them walking around a little bit. They haven't said hello to me. They had a chance to say hello to me yesterday, but they kind of blanked me, which is fair enough. Do whatever they want, but yeah, they haven't spoken to me. They haven't tried to befriend me, which can work for and against them, because if there's two geezers out there that are trying to do some stuff on site or are being threatening towards them, I'm sure that they will be looking to me to see if I'm going to go out and help them. And if you haven't befriended me or you haven't spoken to me, am I going to put myself at risk if there's two geezers out there? Obviously I don't want to see people get hurt, but less inclined to help someone out if they've just blanked me. But we'll see. But I think also I have to, obviously, I think you get taught this in your security guard training, is obviously look at the threat to yourself before you go diving in. So I'd have to look at the threat for myself, the threat to the site that I'm looking after, before I go teeth in and going out there. So, but yeah, how is everyone? Hopefully someone's going to come up with something to chat about in the chat box, because you don't want to listen to me going on about boring stuff. I've got another short week this week. I've got tomorrow night off to do some stuff, so I've got another short week, and then we are more or less into the Christmas run. So it's like the 25th this Saturday, then we're into December after that. Someone's just messaged me about some signs that I sent them, and then we are on the Christmas run. So a couple of Saturdays time, it's going to be into December, into the cold, wet months. Although it's not cold now. I think it's only about 10 degrees. Rain's a bit of a nuisance. It's one of them really fine rains, which, well, it doesn't flood the place, but it gets the dogs wet enough. When you get them out, etc. So get them out, patrol, maybe a little bit of play back in the van. Not gonna do too much. Don't want to get the dogs wet, stinking, and all that for little reason. Like I say, when it comes to sort of winter as a security dog handler, you obviously want to make the shift as good as you can for the dog, and obviously continue with your training, etc. But definitely in sort of December, January, February, maybe March, depends on what the weather's like in March, etc. The need to do extra training when it's absolutely lashing it down definitely goes down a bit. And I think a lot of my not most active shifts, but definitely concentrate on doing more training between sort of April and October when the weather's decent. Not saying that I don't do it now, but like I say, if it's absolutely smashing it down, or the dog's welfare of being wet and being covered in mud, etc., you're not going to do it as much. So, but yeah, we're into the Christmas run. I think I explained in the last video that my plan for Christmas is to be able to have Christmas and New Year's off, and then be back in for New Year's Day. So I am fully in the home stretch of my working year. Probably what, three and a half weeks left, and then I'll be done, and I can chill out for 2.5 weeks or whatever it is. I can't remember. But yeah, has anyone got anything they want to talk about? Because I'm running out of things to talk about. Oh, Marco, have you seen any Dobermans used as security dogs these days? I've never seen one worked. I've seen a couple turn up to training. There was a guy that turned up to one at training not too long ago, and the dog was okay. It was at its early stages. He was just starting and getting into the industry, so very much like Cooper when I first turned up. His dog was a bit better than mine. He had a little bit more about him than Cooper did, and the Doberman was okay. But I've never seen one physically worked. I've not seen one walked around the site. I think I might have seen one or two turn up to Terry's, but none with a NASDO certificate, I don't think. I think if you speak to a lot of dog breeders or a lot of people that are in the security dog industry, I think if you speak to a lot of them, they will tell you that the breeding in the UK is not great. I'm not saying that you can't get good ones. A lot of the good ones that you'll get will be imports, and the Doberman, I think, a little bit like the Rottweiler. Now, this is my opinion and stuff that I've heard, is that sort of the Doberman and the Rottweiler over the last so many decades, or last few decades, etc., the breed has been watered down so that people can have them as pets. So your Joe Blogs can have a Doberman or a Rottweiler in the house that's a little bit more laid back, not as aggressive. They can have it as a family pet, they can have it around people, etc. And because of, like I say, over the last few decades, it's very hard to get a Rottweiler and a Doberman you probably would have been able to get in the 70s, 80s, whatever it is. So that's why a lot of people go for Shepherds and Malinois. The Shepherds, they obviously have the show line, so you have the show line. I'm not sure what Coop is, to be honest, but with the Shepherds, you obviously have show line and working line, and like I say, a lot of people have put a lot of time into working line German Shepherds, and there's lots of good lines around the UK, so they're easily gettable. Malinois, as far as I'm aware, not much watering down of the breed has happened. Possibly that's what they're worried about. If lots of people start getting Malinois as pets and they have the problems, not saying that it's all ex-bullies, but the problems that ex-bullies are having, if the Malinois start getting that sort of tag, you might start seeing the watering down of that breed, so that people can have them as pets, and they'll obviously be less energetic, they'll have less drive, etc. Similar to what, in my opinion, and what I've heard of what's happened with the Doberman and the Rottweiler. And like I say, you can still get good Dobermans, good Rottweilers, very few and far between. the Rottweilers are better than the Dobermans, but they're not the same dogs that people back in the 70s, 80s would probably associate them to be. Would you have to go abroad to replace Cooper? No. So, like I said, in terms of working line German Shepherds, there's lots of good working line German Shepherds breeders in the UK. I think that's why they are one of the most popular security dogs around, is because they're easily gettable. So no, if you want a decent German Shepherd, a decent German Shepherd puppy, you'll be able to speak to people, find out about the right lines if you want to go down that route. The thing is with going with the right lines or getting too involved in that sort of stuff is that it does start to become very expensive. Now, lots of people will spend the money to get a good working line German Shepherd. I've done okay with Coop for what he is. I think what my idea of a security dog is and what other people's idea of security dog is a little different. But it's not to say that either is right or wrong. I don't know what I will do after Coop. I'll probably speak to a few people. I know a few people that are into the breeding, etc. But what I have liked, like I say, Cooper is not a working line German Shepherd, but what that does bring is he's a little bit more peaceful. I've had to do a lot more work in order to get to where we are. I'm not saying that he's the best protection dog ever. He hasn't got the working line in him, so I have had to work quite hard to get to where I am. So if I did go down the working line route, training might, not saying it will, it might be a little bit easier. But no, I wouldn't have to go abroad. I wouldn't have to go abroad to get a decent working line German Shepherd next time. I think if you want to get a proper working line Rottweiler or Doberman, then you do have to go abroad. Malinois and Shepherds, I think they're readily available in the UK pretty not repeatedly, but they come around a lot more. Strike Thunder, hey mate, how you doing? Joined the mid-convo, but up my way, lots of Mallies brought in COVID, and now people got socialising issues. Yeah, that will happen. That will happen with Malinois, is that they have in COVID might have had socialising issues. I think one of the big things that happens with Malinois is that people don't give them enough exercise, which can create issues as well. Is that if you're not socializing your dog, obviously that has issues, but if you're not getting your dog out and not giving it enough exercise as well, then that will frustrate the dog as well. So it's not always just a socializing issue. I think one of the big things that I'm talking with limited knowledge really, if I'm going to be honest, but from what I know about Malinois is that they need plenty of exercise, plenty of work, and you need to feed their drive and do stuff, and that's why they're not pets. That's why they're not pets you can have at home, and that's why I wouldn't go for a Malinois, because the way in which I live my life, with Cooper, etc., I will do enough to feed his drive. But it's not because Cooper's not a working line, because Cooper's not he is a reasonably high drive dog, but he's not like a top tier high drive dog. It's not a constant thing. He can chill out, he can do things, and I can sit around for 3-4 hours and he'll just chill out. Now, not saying that Malinois won't do that, but when Malinois have not had enough exercise, their drive hasn't been fed, they will find things to do. And I think that's why people were saying about like the ex-bullies, well, the people that are training these ex-bullies to be these dogs, well, they'll just move on to the Malinois. The reason that they won't move on to the Malinois is because within 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, the dog will ruin their lives, because you won't be able to have you won't be able to have a Malinois in a city centre. You won't be able to have a Malinois in a built-up place where you can't take it down the park and run it, or you can't take it to a field and run it and work it and feed its drive. Yeah, and have separation anxiety really bad. Well, in what I've heard, I also think GSDs are a lot more vocal than what Mallies are in my experience. Yeah, I think I mean, it's hard to say, because a lot of the Mallies that I see are security dogs, and I see them in the back of vans, and I see them in the back of cars in their crates. And obviously, like Cooper, they are taught to do cage detection, so they will be a lot more vocal around me. I haven't really seen too many Malinois out just chilling with people. I've seen a few, but I haven't seen them out. But I would say with when you get dogs out and they start doing obedience, whether the Malinois are maybe just a little bit better with the obedience and that, the German Shepherds are more vocal. What I've found between sort of the Malinois and the German Shepherds is definitely the what's it called? Definitely the sound of the bark. So the Malinois is quite a high pitch, sometimes a little bit squeaky. With the German Shepherds and that, it's a much deeper bark, and it echoes around a lot more than the Malinois. But like I say, I've only seen a lot of Malinois in backs of vans or backs of cars when they're doing that sort of stuff. I've never done a standoff with a Mallee. I've seen some, and like I say, I think Malinois are a little bit squeakier, where the Shepherds and that are a lot deeper and a lot more echoey. But yeah, I think that's probably the main difference. But if you get a decent Malinois doing cage detection, it still doesn't, just because the Malinois are a little more higher pitched than that, it doesn't mean that I would want to open their crate. I still wouldn't open their crate. But yeah, I think that's some of the differences. And I think because the German Shepherds are a lot deeper and it echoes around, it probably just sounds more vocal than the more squeakier sort of Malinois kind of bark. To be honest with you, one of the scariest barks and dogs I've seen in a back of a van has been a drug detection Labrador. Now, you get the Labrador out, absolutely loves everyone, but they used to have the back of their van open with the two crates and that, and if you start talking, or if you're near the van, you'll hear the barking, the car will be rocking, and then you'll walk round there and it's the lab that's doing it. Then obviously the shepherd will start once he sees you, etc. But it's the Labrador that does it. And I always said, oh, that dog's good. And I always said, yeah, that's the drug detection dog. I always think to myself, But he's obviously learned that off the GSDs, the same way that Ollie is learning that at home, which is starting to get a bit annoying, is that when people walk around past the windows of our place, Ollie will now start the bark. Coop will then get involved because Ollie's notified on a possible threat. Coop goes up, starts the loud bark, and then I've got the deep loud bark, and I've got the squeaky little spaniel bark, and it's starting to drive me insane. So I'm dealing with that at the moment. I can control it to a certain degree, but Ollie is definitely the instigator at home. Of Cooper will be in another room laying down, Ollie will bark at the window, little squeak, and then you hear Coop thundering through the house as he comes up to bark at the window at the person or whatever it is walking past, and then I've got woof, wee, woof, wee, woof, wee. So that's starting to drive me a bit mad. Mally, probably more agile. Mine could jump so high from standing position. Also not sure if they have less health problems. I'm not 100% sure on health problems. I think every breed has its specific health problems that's quite common with that breed. I don't know enough about. Now, probably with the weight of a Malinois, I would guess that their back legs or their hip joints and that wouldn't suffer as much as obviously the German Shepherd. Because what's a Malinois? I guess 25 kilos. I know that they're a bit smaller dog, but they're more like 25 kilos, I believe. So there's not as much weight going through sort of their hip joints, etc. Where Cooper's 40 kilos, lots of weights on hip joints and things like that. And that's the reason that the Malinois, as far as I'm aware, the reason that Malinois are more used now in the army is that it's much easier to strap a Malinois, a 25 kilo Malinois, to a rucksack and abseil out of an helicopter than it is to strap a 40 kilo German Shepherd and abseil out of an helicopter. And I believe that's one of the reasons why Malinois are more used in the army, so that if you are on a deployment and you need to abseil down something, or you need to carry the dog, so let's for example say you come across something that you don't want the dogs to walk on, much easier to pick up a Malinois and carry it for 50 yards than it is to pick up a German Shepherd and carry it for 50 yards. But what you also get with a Malinois is that drive, and obviously the end product of an army Malinois is still as destructive as a decent German Shepherd. But that's why you see Malinois in the army now, because they're much more agile, much lighter. You can abseil out of a helicopter with a Malinois, or you can abseil down a wall with a Malinois strapped to a rucksack, where you're not going to be doing that with a German Shepherd, etc. But yeah, they are much more agile. There's plenty of videos on YouTube if you want to see that stuff that's clickbait and just done for YouTube videos, has absolutely no reference to any security work, any work that you're probably going to want to do with a Malinois. It's fun, it looks good, but it's not anything that you're going to do. Even if I had a Malinois, am I going to make my Malinois scale a 15-foot wall to go and get someone? No. So therefore it's pointless. It's like I say, it does look cool and it makes a good video, get you a lot of views on YouTube, but in terms of, is it actually a necessity, or is it actually worth teaching? No. The dog's more likely to hurt itself when you're not around and it decides to scale up a 15-foot wall. It's more likely to hurt itself than it is to succeed, possibly. Don't look as nice as a GS though in your eyes. I think that the problem that you have, the problem you have with Malinois is, yes, we all know what the end product of a Malinois bite is. You can watch videos and you can see the intensity of a Malinois and things like that. The only issue with Malinois in the work that we do is that do I want to put a percentage on this? I'm going to say, cautiously, I'm going to say 60% of all confrontations are won and lost the moment the dog comes out of the van. If you get a 40, 45, 50 kilo dog out of a van and you're 6 foot, I'm going to say 6 foot as a standard height. If you get a 40, 45, 50 kilo dog out of a van and you're 6 foot tall, that dog is going to look big. It's going to look threatening, and obviously if it's got the right training, you're going to think to yourself, you know what, even if there's 3 of us, at least one of us is going to have to deal with that dog, and unless someone steps forwards, which highly unlikely they're going to, they're probably not going to deal with you. If you're 6 foot tall and you get a 20-25 kilo Malinois out and there's 3 blokes, one of them will probably say, I reckon I can have that dog, I reckon I can take that dog on. And I'd say at a cautious percentage, I would say 60% of standoffs are won and lost in that moment. And like I say, I'm talking about someone that's 6 foot. If you've got someone that's 6'4", 6'5" with a Malinois, the Malinois looks like a Jack Russell compared to him. So if you are of a larger stamp, you're probably going to want a German Shepherd anyway, just so that the dog looks a lot bigger next to you. If you're 5'4", 5'5", the Malinois is probably going to look like a reasonably sized dog next to you, where a 40 kilo, 45, 50 kilo dog is going to look massive next to you. So it all depends on what you want out of that. I think that discussions that I've had with people and discussions that have been spoken about, if you're a reasonably tall person or a reasonably big person, the moment you get a Malinois out, the Malinois shrinks in size compared to a German Shepherd or a decent sized Rottie. What are Rotties? They can go up 50 kilo, 45, 50 kilo, big bulky dog. They look a lot bigger next to you. So yeah, they don't look as nice, but I think like I say, the problem with Malinois, the problem I think a lot of people say they don't look as nice, is that they look a lot smaller next to certain people than German Shepherds do. And like I say, a cautious percentage, I would say 60% of standoffs are won and lost at the moment the dog comes out of the van. Dobermans are probably on the lighter side, but I've seen and felt a few bites on a sleeve, and I'd not mess with that in a real situation. Yeah, I think again it depends on the Doberman. We was talking about this a little bit earlier. I think it also depends on the Dobermans, because if you go round a lot of people's houses that have Dobermans are on the lighter side. But if you get an imported Doberman in that's working line, they're bigger, they're bulkier, and they probably do more damage. So I think it also depends on the Doberman, because like I say, I've not seen many Dobermans, but I've seen videos, and obviously it's hard to compare a Doberman next to one person compared to a Doberman that I know that I've seen next to other people. But just the look of them, the size of them, look a lot bigger from the imported ones. So yeah, there you go. So it was an imported, fully trained protection dog. So yeah, like I say, it's an imported one, and I think that's the difference. When you say you wouldn't want to mess with a Doberman, it depends on which one you get. I do believe, out of the 4 main breeds, so the Shepherds, the Malinois, the Rottweiler and the Doberman, the line of the Doberman, I think out of all the other breeds, that is the most important if you want to use it for security. Appearance was intimidating enough. Yeah, like I say, I think there's a YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel of a guy who does protection dogs. He done the protection dog for Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall's the strongman, isn't he? There's a YouTube channel, I believe, of his, and he's done a giant schnauzer, which is really good. The giant schnauzer that he done was really good. But I've seen some videos of his imported Dobermans as well, and like I say, they are a lot bigger than the Dobermans you normally see. They're a lot stockier. They're much better built. Protection is it Protection Dog Worldwide or Protection Worldwide? Yeah, that's the one. if you type protection dog worldwide or protection worldwide into YouTube, Miguel, I don't know the guy's name, to be honest, but yeah, protection dog worldwide or protection worldwide, if you put that into YouTube, there was a woman that went and done like a little bit of a documentary. It's only like a YouTube video documentary kind of thing, of like just chatting with him and things like that, and they got a few of the dogs out. The giant schnauzer is good. I saw that one, and like I say, you'll see I'm pretty sure you will see an imported Doberman in that as well, and that's a proper Doberman. And like I say, out of the 4 breeds, Shepherds, Rottweilers, Malinois and Doberman, I would say that the breeding line on the Doberman is the most important if you want to take it into security. And I think that's the reason why you hardly see any Doberman about, because you have to import it, and obviously if you're importing it, you're obviously paying for the breeding line, which is obviously more expensive. Then you're paying like the import costs, etc. So that's why going down the Doberman route isn't advised. But if you're into your dogs and it's not your first dog and you don't want to get into the industry quickly, then I wouldn't say no, but make sure that you do your homework before buying a Doberman for protection. We're at 36 minutes in. Not one of them breeds would stand a chance against the missus. It's funny because like a lot of the people and a lot of the handlers that I speak to or I've met and things like that, their dog will bark back at them. Some, not all, some might have a bit of a nip at the handler, but they will not mess around with the missus. And I think Terry says his wife is not a dog person, but if she raises her voice, Ash, Terry's dog, cacks itself. And I had something quite similar. So I had something quite similar happen not that long ago. So the way in which our place is situated, out of the bedroom window, you can see the car park, and when we leave, Cooper normally looks out of that window to see if we're getting in the car and going, or whether we're just popping out to maybe the bin store and coming back. And the other day we went out and we come back, and my bedside table light had been knocked over. Stuff on my bedside table had been knocked on the floor, and I didn't notice. So I've walked in and went and sat on the sofa, and Ada's saying hello to Ollie and Cooper, and she's giving them rubs and that. Anyway, she's gone into the bedroom to go and do whatever, take her watch off or whatever. And all of a sudden, I've just heard, Cooper! And Coop has crawled across the sitting room, up onto the sofa next to me, and he is just laid there with his head flat on the floor with his ears pinned back, and he's just laying there. And the missus is in the bedroom going, Cooper! And she walks in, and he looks up, and he will not get his chin off of the sofa. He just looks up because he knows he's messed up. And she comes over and says, what's happened in there? And he starts looking, and he thinks about wagging his tail, and then she walks off, and then he gets his head up, he looks at me, and I went, I ain't helping you, mate, this is all you. So then he goes off, goes towards the bedroom, and as he goes to go in the bedroom, she went, who done that? And that was it. Turned around, crawled across the sitting room, back up onto the sofa, head down, laid there, didn't want to move. If that's me, and I say, who did that? He'll look at me and go, yeah, what are you gonna do? So I think with a lot of protection dogs and a lot of people that I've spoken to, their dog, they won't get into a bit of a conflict with the handler, but they're a lot braver with the handler than sometimes the missus. And definitely in our house, if I say something, Coop might have a bit of chat back, or he might look at me and go, yeah, I did it, so what? But if the missus turns around and says, who done that, or shouts his name, he goes, I better go and lay down somewhere here. Have you ever watched Robert Cabral in the USA? All dog related stuff, not social, not solely security though. No, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit funny now. It is interesting. Agreed, Robert Cabral has put out some great vlogs of late. I'm quite an interesting one, so I am obviously interested in the dog industry. I obviously work in the dog industry. I obviously make videos about doing or being a security dog handler, or how to become a security dog handler, but I don't throw myself into it that much that I watch a lot of I watch or listen to a lot of other stuff. I don't really watch a lot of other YouTube stuff about dogs, if I'm going to be honest. If I'm going to watch YouTube, I normally watch YouTube football, or I watch YouTube golf. Maybe I'll watch some YouTubers, but I don't throw myself into watching people like Robert Cabral. I'm sure his stuff's really good, but yeah, to be honest with you, I don't watch a lot of it. Now, the reason that I came across protection dogs worldwide is that I think it might have just been a suggested video that had a decent thumbnail, and I decided to click on it and just see. That's the reason I come across that. But yeah, in my downtime and things like that, I don't watch a lot of dog related stuff. Like I say, I'll watch YouTube football, I'll watch YouTube golf stuff and things like that, more entertainment. But so no, I haven't watched any of his stuff, but I will for next well, I'll probably do a live on Thursday, probably Thursday again. What I'll do between now and Thursday is I'll watch a bit of Robert Cabral, a few of his videos, and then I'll have more of an opinion on his stuff on Thursday when I do my live. I get what you mean. It's probably different as you're in the industry already. Guessing it's like me watching videos on my profession. Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, I work in the dog industry. I'm obviously working security dog handling. I make security dog handling videos, so watching other videos is a bit like a busman's holiday, you could say. But it doesn't mean that I won't watch certain stuff, because I think one of the problems that I have with my videos and my stuff sort of is that I've said this before, is that no one else does it in the UK, so I don't have a chance to not steal ideas, but bounce ideas off people, or get inspired by other security dog handling videos in the UK. So I'm not saying that I won't watch it, because it can give me some ideas for some videos or some stuff to talk about, etc. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll watch some Robert Cabral stuff over the next sort of 2-3 days. Probably, well, yeah, tomorrow night when I'm off, when the missus goes. So this is another thing, because I'm having a night off in the middle of my week, is that I won't want to mess my sleeping pattern up. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably stay up tomorrow night after the missus goes to bed, and watch some TV. So I'll watch some Robert Cabral stuff tomorrow night, and then yeah, like I say, on Thursday when I do my live, we can have a bit more of a chat about it. There's plenty of content for you to have a look at. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people know this, but I started doing some golf YouTube, and what I did when I was going to do some golf YouTube is that I literally watched hours and hours and hours, probably 6-7 hours a night, probably over about 3 months of just watching videos, getting ideas for different cuts, different music, doing whatever, and then started doing the videos. Now obviously I bought a little bit, especially at the start, I bought a little bit of that into my videos with the music or the cuts or different things like that. But in terms of inspired in different videos, now what you have to appreciate as well is that, like I said the other day, is that for the next 3-4 months I'm gonna have zero time to be able to film a video of doing dog training in the day unless I'm physically at dog training, and that's why I try and do as many as I can in the summer. And obviously there are some on Patreon. That's why I try and do so many in the summer of actual like videos of being out and about, doing the actual job on site, etc., making videos or training videos when I'm on site. It's because for the next probably 3-4 months I won't be able to do it. So it's although I want to look at videos and get inspired and say, oh yeah, I want to do a video similar to that, or that gives me an idea, maybe I won't be able to film that for the next 3 months, etc. Which is one of the issues of being a security dog handler and working nights, is that you work at times where a video camera, a GoPro or whatever camera is just not going to work. It's not going to catch it. So that's why for the next 3-4 months I'm going to do what I can to do certain videos, catch some training videos when I can. But yeah, again, being part of this job, as the free time is, that sounds bad, I was going to say the free time's not free time, but the free time I get is not dog training time. And that's why I was hoping like maybe the Patreon would take on a little bit better than it has, is that it would allow me to be able to take maybe one shift a month off to be able to do like a day of training out during daylight hours where I'll film some content. But like I say, the Patreon hasn't taken off to that point where I can actually be able to have a content day where I can film some videos, etc. Which is why at the moment you're having to put up with me doing lives from a van on site in the pitch black. So but yeah, hopefully further down the line, maybe my channel takes off a little bit more, where I can start taking content days to be able to film and do a little bit more, because I think that this is the time of year where I do lose my mojo for the YouTube side, which I think is why I've started doing these lives, because I do lose my mojo for the YouTube side because I'm not really filming anything. I'm not getting the chance to do certain stuff because of the couple of nights off that I do get, or the couple of days off I do get. I obviously have to do a lot of other stuff. So I'd say Friday afternoons is my day, is my time during the day to be able to do stuff. But the problem is that the stuff that I can't do Monday to Thursday, it always gets pushed to Friday. So when I get back and I have a sleep, by the time I get up, I've got 2 or 3 things I need to do, and by that time it's like maybe 4 o'clock and it's nearly dark. So yeah, maybe later down the line, if my channel gets a little bit more popular or the Patreon takes off a little bit more, I'll be able to have content days and I'll be able to do bigger, better things. Be able to take a day to do some content, maybe go elsewhere, do other things, take up some of the offers that I have been given. There's lots of people around the UK that have said, oh, like, come up and do some training with us, or if they've said, look, if you want to come up and do a day of training with us, by all means come up, you can film me, etc. And it's a nice offer, and it's stuff that I would like to do, but to drive to Northampton to go and do a day's worth of content or film some videos, etc., it's 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. I'm probably gonna have to take a day off work, because if I tell the missus I'm going to Northampton to film content on our one day off that we get together, she's going to cut my head off. So in order to do that, I will have to have a day off work. So that's what I'm saying, like maybe later on down the line when I can afford to take content days, because them content days are either being paid for by the Patreon or them content days are being paid by the YouTube or whatever it is, then you will see bigger, better videos coming from me. But whilst I'm not earning out of this, then it's not going to be possible, because if I turn and say to the missus I'm going to take a content day that I'm not going to get paid for and I'm taking a day off of work, she's also going to cut my head off. So enjoy your videos, bud, and try and squeeze you in when I get a chance. Yeah, like I say, it's always a long process. Some of the bigger YouTubers that I follow on the golf and that, they did YouTube for 3-4 years before they got noticed or before people started watching golf on YouTube. I think that's the next step for security dog handling in YouTube, is that people have to know to come here to watch content. And then if people start coming to YouTube to watch content, then you'll start getting more creators. The reason that you get more creators on things like TikTok and that is because people go to TikTok in order to watch content, because they only want to watch 20 second 2-minute videos. They know that they've got that on TikTok, so that's where they go, and that's why you get a lot of the creators on there, where at some point hopefully people will start going, well, yeah, if you actually want to get a more in-depth video about how to become a security dog handler or what it's like to be a security dog handler, you need to go over to YouTube to get that information. More people will start coming over watching videos, therefore more creators will flip over and start doing stuff on YouTube. I do search in security dog handler into the YouTube search bar every now and then, just to see if there is anyone that's started making videos, etc. I would probably assume that if people would probably get in contact with me and say, look, I've started doing these videos, what do you think of them? But yeah, I think that's a little way off, and like I say, you got to start getting people to come to YouTube to get that information, to start watching videos before you start getting more creators on there. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, in order to make a TikTok video about security dog handling, it doesn't take much. And I'm not saying it takes loads to do on YouTube, but there is an expectation of a little bit more editing quality. Not saying that mine is. I'm not saying that my videos are the best edited YouTube videos you're going to find, but on YouTube it is expected to have a little bit more quality to it, a little bit more information, a little bit more quality in the video than it is required from a TikTok video. So yeah, I think that once you start getting people coming over to YouTube, then you will start getting more creators, and more creators doing what I do can only be good, because it can only bring more information. As long as that information is good, it can only be more beneficial. And again, like I said, you throw enough shit at the wall, it eventually is going to stick. So the more people you've got throwing it at the wall, the more likely it is to stick as well. And like I say, it's not so much. Fuck's that. It's not so much that it gets. It's not so. You're not gonna improve the attitude of a lot of people in the security. But what I've always said about my channel, I've not aimed my channel at the people that are there now, the people that are in their own ways of how they do the job. I'm trying to, the next generation of handlers that are coming in, trying to start them off in the right way, get them into good habits early. Fuck. Trying to get them into good habits early. Therefore, that later on down the line, you'll have a better quality of handler. Therefore, the industry will be better quality. Just give me 2 secs. Okay. Oh, mate. Don't think that's for me. I don't think that's for me. But yeah, like I say, I think if you can improve the standard of people coming into the industry, getting them off starting right, doing it right from the start, you've got more chance of improving the security dog handling industry in 5 years' time. I think if you want to improve security dog handling as an industry, it's not going to be a short-term fix. It's not going to be a 6-month fix. It's going to be something that's going to take 3-5 years. But if you're not putting the work in now, it's only going to be longer until the improvements start being noted. Right, guys, I'm going to leave that there because I've got someone backing up near my gate, and I just want to make sure that whatever they're doing, I don't think it is for me. Obviously driving off. He's driving off. I think it's a pickup for outside. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. It's coming up to 57 minutes. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this talk. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. And like I say, this will be going out published afterwards. So if you just joining in and you want to watch it, it will be published. You'll be able to watch it in a minute. So that's for now. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Patreon's down below in the description. Make sure you sign up. Cheers. See you later.